Hey everyone.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Simon, fantastic. I was worried I might have to listen to what sounds like a tractor in JJ's place. I think that might be his air conditioning or something.
Well, look, it wouldn't be an X Spaces without a little technical difficulties. So
Yeah. Okay.
glad we could make it work.
We've got you up now. Let's jump straight into it because I know people have been waiting for a few minutes. Welcome, everybody. Today it's just Simon and I for another Zebec Spaces as we talk a little bit more about the developments in the Zebec ecosystem. Also, one of the more intriguing pieces of crypto infrastructure that I'm really excited. I've been paying a lot of attention to during these conversations, and now I'm really excited to quiz Simon about, and that is the Zebec SuperApp. For the past few years, Zebec has been building real world financial rails for crypto, payroll, streaming, debit cards, stablecoin payments. And now all of that is being brought together in one product, a super app that lets people earn, spend, stake, and manage crypto in a single place. So today, Simon is going to walk us through the launch, the roadmap, and why this could and potentially will become one of the most important fintech layers in DeFi. Simon, great to have you here. How are you, sir? How's it going?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for everyone who's on. It's been a whirlwind start to the year, as I'm sure most of our community knows. Our tech team has been incredibly busy getting the super app out in time, and we're super excited to be getting into the details today.
Yeah, I mean, before we do that, though, I am obviously very keen to get into the super app itself. Just give us a quick snapshot for. We've got a lot of listeners on today, and not all of them may know of Zebec and what's going on. How big has the network become? What has the team been building towards over the past few years? Give us a very quick lay of the land.
Well, Zebec's been scaling now over the past few years, kind of to be the next generation of financial infrastructure. We, of course, started with our core product of payroll all these years ago. We're now processing over $500 million in annual payroll volume. 12,000 employees are paid across around 285 enterprises active with Zebec today. And we've really been able to transition from this single product of payroll to now a full-fledged financial ecosystem. Of course, we have our wildly successful Zebec card suite, which launched about 18 months ago. We have over 50,000 people using these cards, 65 million in annual volume and growing very fast. And of course, our white label program, which is one of our proudest achievements, with now 100 different companies having white labeled the Zebec card suite in some capacity, and we'll soon be upgrading this to fully white labeled apps as well for ecosystems and corporates. So we're about to start a very exciting new chapter for Zebec, all underpinned by the super app.
Awesome. Okay, that's great because obviously super app is the big story right now. It's why we're talking here today. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, what problem are you solving by bringing payroll, cards, staking payments, and wrapping it up into this one major product?
Well, when you think about the lay of the land in crypto right now, there's a high level of fragmentation across apps. You have your trading apps, you have dedicated apps for cards, on and off ramp tools. Payroll, then again, is a completely different universe. And years ago at Zebec, we really identified the need to have a unified
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
financial interface, but built on crypto rails. I can now confidently say that we are the first to market with a fully crypto native fintech super app. This is the first move for us as we're seeking to disrupt traditional financial apps and infrastructure on a new level.
Okay, amazing. And the desktop version of the super app launched February 25th, I think. So what
Yep.
can users actually do inside the product today, Simon?
Right. So we've been out for a little over a week now. Feedback has been great, but of course, keep in mind that this is the first release of the retail version, which is going to be free to all Zebec users, and we'll then be rolling out our upgraded enterprise and pro version in the coming months, which will have fees or balance requirements to get access to. So for today's version, which is viewable on desktop and web browser, we are bringing the best of our product suite into one unified app with payroll streaming, managing your cards all in one place, and connecting your payroll account to your wallets, and of course, the built-in staking of ZBCN. So those are really the 3 or 4 core use cases right now of this version of the Super App. It's live. We encourage everyone to test it out. On the card side, we're supporting about 20 different blockchains right now. Payroll streaming, of course, launched on Solana, and we will be adding in new ecosystems and chains on the payroll side throughout the year.
You just spoke about the card system there. I know this is old ground a little bit for you and I, but I appreciate there's a lot of people listening in now. It's one of the most powerful pieces of the Zebec ecosystem is the card system that we've just explained about. Can you explain why Zebec cards are such a big deal?
Well, the cards are often the way that most retail users first get to experience and work with Zebec. And in our view, cards are really the easiest, most seamless off ramp for most of the world's billion plus people that use crypto. And the beauty of our product is that you can create an unlimited amount of Zebec cards, all under one account within the Super App. You can then track the balances, you can see the transactions, and you can load over 100 tokens and stablecoins without any fees. There's no one else that offers a product like this in an easy to use interface like the Super App. When we roll out the enterprise version, you'll have a card management tool where a company or a expense manager can manage all of the different cards of their employees and contractors in a single view, all with instant activation through Apple Pay and Google Pay. So we've taken the idea, as I always like to say, that you can live your life fully on crypto via Zebec, but we've expanded that to running your entire corporation entirely on crypto infrastructure and crypto rails. We're already in talks with a number of B2B clients for the card and expense management solution, and we're really going to be taking this to the next level through banking partnerships as well.
Right. That is a perfect segue because I have been noticing lots of like crypto backed neobanks. They're popping up everywhere. I see that recently you guys announced a partnership with Lattice, which is the first neobank on the Canton network. What else can you tell me about this market and how you are approaching it?
Definitely. So there's a lot of crypto-based neobanks that are popping up everywhere right now, and I think the vast majority of them are still in what we'd call the development phase, meaning that they're not live yet. Many of those, which have raised some capital but really haven't gone to market, they're in talks with us, or some of them, like Lattice, are already under contract to use elements of our super app in their tech and banking stack. So for Lattice, it's a fully white labeled card experience built directly into their banking app, and it's all going to run on Canton Network, which is one of the leading institutional grade blockchains. And keep an eye out for further partnerships and integrations between Zebec and Canton directly. But that being said, we're super excited to be working with Lattice and many more neobanks on the horizon. So Zebec, as I've said many times now, is going to continue to be what we're calling the rails of the growing real-time finance economy. And there's no better example than seeing this next generation of banks building directly on top of our infra in such early days.
I love it. And I guess that infra play is something that you really do think about all of the angles. We're here to talk about the super app, and I think some people may not realize that you haven't just built out your own app. Zebec builds financial apps for other companies too, right? How does the white label partner app model work?
Well, we've had a lot of early success with white label cards, and we're now going to take it to the next level by letting any company launch their own fintech stack on top of Zebec, starting with branded wallets, custom card programs, all fully integrated in your tech stack as a company. We're also going to be white labeling our payroll experience for both ecosystems and traditional companies. And what does all this mean for Zebec in our ecosystem? Well, it means more volume and more users coming into our world. This will drive demand for ZBCN, and it also allows us to scale in a way that most crypto companies simply cannot through just organic user acquisition. This is a way for us to really turbocharge our growth.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really, really exciting. I mean, that kind of tech available to other companies, etc., is I think a really, really exciting development. So The next step is, I'm assuming, mobile super app launching later this month. What does that unlock for the ecosystem?
Yes, so that's going to be our next big launch coming hopefully in the next few weeks. The product is currently under development. And this really brings every crypto and banking tool you've ever needed all in your pocket on the go. You'll be able to receive your payroll in real time and access it on the go. You can make mobile payments. You'll be able to manage all your cards all in a very sleek iOS and Android app. And from there, we'll be working in a reward system as well as a remittance tool in the weeks and months following the launch. So think of that kind of as our next big launch coming later in March, early April. And from there, our focus is going to be on the enterprise and the pro version, which we touched on before, as well as white label versions for some very, very big ecosystems, which we've hinted at in the past. And more news will be coming in the coming weeks on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I assume you're taking all of this as well to XRP Vegas when you speak later this month as well, right?
Exactly. So there will be some major announcements dropped at XRP Vegas, and I encourage everyone in our community to attend. And we may even be giving away some free tickets and travel for that event as well. So stay tuned.
Amazing. Let's talk about the token quickly. As Zebec becomes financial infrastructure, how does ZBCN capture value from that ecosystem, Simon?
Well, as I said countless times, the token really sits at the center of this financial network that we're building, and value always accrues back to the ecosystem token. So if you look at the super app, all the fees are paid in ZBCN. Payroll fees paid by employers must be done in ZBCN. Access tiers and feature unlocks will also be tied to ZBCN. This will be taken to the next level in the enterprise versions as well, where certain balances of ZBCN will be required on top of any fees that the corporates will need to pay. So long story short, the super app really brings all of our products together and channels the value towards the token.
Amazing. Okay. I mean, very, very comprehensive. I think we've got some really exciting sound bites from that. Certainly a lot that I'd like to touch on. One of the things I'd like to ask you, and then maybe you can have a closing line afterwards, but if we fast forward 2 years, you know I like to do this. What does Zebec look like? And what role do you want this super app to play in that environment, but also more broadly in global finance?
It's a great question. Well, the way I see it is that Zebec is increasingly becoming the financial infrastructure layer for the next generation of financial tools and Web3 apps. Going back to our start, we built our name in a very traditional sector of finance, which is payroll. And we were able to build the trust of some of the largest enterprises and organizations around the world based on our expertise in payroll. Now, fast forward a few years, crypto rails are accepted finally by mainstream players. Zebec is going to become one of the primary beneficiaries of this global transition to stablecoins over the next few years. And we're going to continue to take share from the traditional banking apps of the past. So I want to see the super app become the go-to financial app for individuals, companies, and teams around the world. And by doing this, we will replace hundreds of legacy payroll, banking, and card solutions. So we're really entering what I call a new era of finance. The playing field has changed forever, and I encourage everyone in our ecosystem to either work with us as a user, be a builder, be an enterprise partner, and help us really shape this next generation of finance that we're entering now.
Yeah, I love that. Whenever I get asked about like clients, etc., I always talk about the fact that I work with you guys, and I when people ask me to explain what you guys are doing, I'm like, it's very, very different to crypto projects. It's not just a token, it's not just a wallet, like it's genuinely real decentralized financial infrastructure. And I think that is it's really, really exciting, and I'm loving the fact that every time we come up here there's a new development to that extent. So any final
Thanks.
words from you, Simon, before we close out?
Well, I really want to thank everyone in our community, really, for being on this ride with us. Of course, there's lots of ups and downs in our industry. And I think if you track our progress for the past 12 to 24 months, you can see all the pieces of the puzzle coming together with different product launches, different partnerships, different integrations. And now it's coming together in a single product interface through the super app. So this opens us up to our next chapter, which I'm super excited for. And as I've said many times, 2026 is going to be our best year yet.
Amazing. Well, Well, look, thank you so much for giving up your time today to spend with us. I'm glad we got it all sorted. Great conversation. Really, really appreciate you taking the time and looking forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you, Ben, as always, and thank you to our community.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. JJ, over to you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And then we'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, everybody. And yeah, thank you, guys. Bye-bye.